This
Vacation
conference will now be recorded.
for May of 2023. May of 2023 is not when you want to go. They have other dates that are available. And this is a great tour that we'll be going through the whole presentation, showing you from all around the entire island. So either way, if you decide to do something completely different in Ireland, I think CIE Tours, you'll be happy to see all the things they offer. And that is where they started, is in Ireland. So today, first, let me introduce to you Travel Central and who we are. Travel Central has been in business since 1988. Our whole reason that we do business is to make sure that our travelers have the seamless and stress-free vacation from the planning process to your return home. We offer our expertise, resources, and knowledge. And as you can see, we've been in business for over 30 years. I think the most important thing about using a travel advisor is you get one advisor who's dedicated to you. When you call Travel Central, that advisor will return your calls, take your questions, and help you have the best vacation possible. And the other great news is often we have enhancements that we can offer to our travelers, whether it's an upgrade or a free night or different things like that. Today we'll be sharing that you can save 5% if you come on the group just by putting a deposit down by the middle of July of this year. So with that, I'm turning it over to Dan. Dan is with CIE. He's going to talk a little bit about CIE in general, who they are. After that, he'll talk a little bit about Ireland, and then he'll go on a day by day of this tour around the entire island. So enjoy. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, and we'll respond to all questions. Well, either during the presentation or at the end. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dan, and he will go on from here. Thank you, Dan.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Melinda. And good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you taking some time out of your afternoon to join Melinda and myself. Um, as Melinda said, the company did start in Ireland. We are celebrating our 90th year. We started way back in 1932. And with the slide that you're seeing currently, as Melinda mentioned, the Irish Odyssey, which is one of our more popular tours because it encompasses the entire island of Ireland. So you'll get the opportunity to experience not only the Republic of Ireland, but also Northern Ireland as well. Again, being around since 1932, we are the #1 destination specialist to Ireland because technically we are part of the Irish government. So we're Irish owned. And for the first 86 years of existence, all we did, our specialty has been Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. And then back in 2019, we decided to add Iceland and Italy to the portfolio. But I think what's really important to remember is our local guides and drivers. So in this case, with the Irish Odyssey, you'll have the opportunity to experience a local guide who is from Ireland, and he will be able to provide his experience, his expertise, his commentary with his lifelong love of his home country. A lot of times we will also provide a driver to accompany the tour guide, but there will be some cases where it's just going to be one individual. When you look at the photo of one of our guides right there, that is Dermot. He's one of the more popular guide drivers that we have, but you'll see what's called the all-in inclusive advantage. And what that means is Dermot and his colleagues, they are on that motor coach escorting you around whatever itinerary that you're on, in this case, the Irish Odyssey, but he is not going to try to sell you or the others any optional side trips. So everything is included with the tour price. So that means it's quite a bit of savings for you when you travel with CIE Tours. Over the years, over 3 million happy travelers. As you can see, our guest satisfaction rating, 95%. Offices here in the States in Morristown, New Jersey, also operational offices in Dublin as well as London. Now, just to give you a little brief background of who we are as a company, for some of you that might not be familiar with CIE Tours, our bread and butter is the guided vacations. As you can see, we offer 38 guided coach tours in all of the destinations, which is more than double to our next closest competitor. And we also offer small group departures where not only with the coaches, we could, if we would, or we would if we could, excuse me, we would could sell up to 44 guests on a coach. But I think a popular way of traveling now is with small group departures where we will sell no more than 26. With that group travel, such as what Melinda and Travel Central has for next May, this is designed for groups of 10 or more people. And then we also have a wonderful program called the Custom Private Driver Vacation, where folks, if they're not interested in a motor coach tour, we offer terrific private driver program as well. And we'll go with next. I'm going to treat Melinda as Vanna White. We're having some issues with sharing screens, and so instead of turning over letters, Melinda's going to handle forwarding the slides. So I appreciate it, Melinda. This is our portfolio. Again, being Irish owned, you're going to see a number of Ireland only tours, of which Irish Odyssey is one of the 17 that you see there on the right side. But just as popular, Scotland has become more of a popular destination. I live over in Phoenix, and for those of you that might be Outlander fans, uh, the author Diana Gabaldon, she lives here in the Scottsdale area, so I had the chance to meet her a couple of times. But I think Outlanders really provided some impetus for folks that want to visit Scotland. And then you get into what we call the combination tours: Scotland, Ireland. We have Britain with 7, but as you'll see, a total of 38 coach tours for all of the destinations we go to combined. Uh, just show you some of the highlights that you'll have on this tour. The wonderful cliffs of Moher. They're approximately 9 miles long. They rise to up 700 feet at their highest point. And this is along their Ireland's west coast or the Atlantic coastline. This is beautiful Kylemore Abbey. This was a private residence until it was purchased in 1920 by some Benedictine nuns who escaped the continent of the European continent during World War I. This is a wonderful visit at more than 40,000 square feet with 70 rooms, but what a lot of people enjoy is these 6 acres of gardens as they stroll through the grounds. It might not seem like an important event, but a sheepdog demonstration on our tours ends up being the most popular experiences that our guests will have. As you can see, you get the first sheepdog trials, as they're called, took place way back in 1873 in North Wales, but this has become an annual event since then. But people just always rave about how smart these border collies are. And I had the experience on my first trip back in 2013. We had the top sheepdog trainer in Ireland that showed what these dogs are capable of doing. Okay, Melinda. And with that, I always like to tease and add a little humor to it. If you could go back to that one slide, Melinda, in the upper left corner, you get some of these dogs that are very well trained, but you get some that just don't have the knack for it. I just think that day that dog was just cold. He wanted his wool sweater. Or that he got trapped. Here's the infamous Blarney Castle. It was built way back in 1446, and everyone talks about kissing the stone of eloquence. But I tell you what, back in the day when this first started, they used to hang people over the edge by their ankles. So thank goodness they don't have to do that anymore. But it's just an experience. And for those that don't want to go to the top, there's some beautiful floral and fauna gardens around the castle as well for people to enjoy. This is one of 2 UNESCO heritage sites that you're going to find. Giant's Causeway is up on the northern shore in Northern Ireland. And as you can see, there's these hexagon-shaped basalt rock tubes, and some of them get up to almost 40 feet high, but these were formed roughly 60 million years ago. And on a clear day, you can see Scotland from here. And the reason why it's called Giant's Causeway is because in southwest Scotland, there's an area that's somewhat similar to this. And legend has it that giants were building a land bridge between the 2 islands. So the Giant's Causeway is a remarkable area. It's a great visit. With this in Northern Ireland, I think this is a must. We always offer this with our tours that include Northern Ireland. This is Titanic Belfast. Now, please keep in mind, it is not a museum, but with this photo, you can see the building itself, which is, I believe it's 11 years old now, but the design of it was to represent the bow and the keel of the Titanic at its actual height of 90 feet. But you can also see the shipyard there with light standards. That's where the ship itself was built back in from 1909 until her maiden voyage. Now, keep in mind again, it is not a museum because there's no artifacts from the ship, but they did a very nice job of recreating the grand staircase as well as some of the staterooms, so people could experience and see what first class, second class, third class staterooms were like back in the day. And here towards the end of this tour, you'll have the opportunity to enjoy the other UNESCO heritage site, and this is called Bruna Boyne. You'll have the New Grange and Noth tombs, and these have been dated back to 3200 BC, which is roughly 1,000 years before the Pyramid of Giza. And again, a remarkable visit, and it's a great way to end this tour. So with tour highlights, you'll have Ballintubber Abbey, you'll get Belleek Pottery, and I'll go more in depth with the daily itinerary here. You'll have the Bruna Boyne Visitor Center, which I was just describing, Giant's Causeway, as well as the Great Irish Night in Dublin when you arrive. And some further highlights for this trip. You will have Kilmainham, Gaol. This is where a lot of the revolutionary leaders back in 1916 were kept as prisoners by the British back in the day. You'll have an exclusive visit and dinner at Walled City Brewery, Kylemore Abbey again, Paddy O'Shea's pub dinner, who is a famous sports figure over in Ireland, and again, you have Titanic, Belfast. Very nice 4-star hotel accommodations during the course of this tour. You'll have the Herbert Park Hotel, which is located in Dublin. You'll be there for 2 nights. And you get an image of the Herbert Park there. The next hotel will be the River Lee Hotel in Cork. You can go ahead and go forward, Melinda. That's the River Lee, and you're there in Cork for 1 night. And as you continue on during the tour, you will have the experience of 2 nights at the Killarney Plaza Hotel, a lovely property, and it's located right by the town square. Killarney is just a wonderful visit, and glad that you'll be able to experience it with 2 nights in a row. The next night, as you work your way up to Galway, you'll stay at the Galmont Hotel and Spa. Again, you'll be there for 2 nights. What's really nice with this tour is kind of leisurely paced. You'll have some nights where you get to experience more than just 1 night at the same hotel. Now, when you work your way into Northern Ireland, you'll be in Derry for 2 nights at the City Hotel. And then as you work your way over to Belfast, you'll be at the Grand Central Hotel. Maybe I missed out on this one, Melinda, and I apologize. The Cabra Casa Hotel is located in King's Court, which will be your last night on the tour. I might have these backwards, Melinda, so go ahead and click one more time and see what we have here.
And they were backwards, but we just now went
Yeah,
to day 1. We can go ahead and
yeah, my
start there.
apologies, folks. That was the last image was the Grand Central Hotel in Belfast, a new property right in the city itself. So my apologies because I had those 2 backwards. So here we go with the daily itinerary with this wonderful 12-day tour. With day 1, and please keep this in mind, with this tour, we consider our tour departure the actual day that you start your tour. A lot of our competitors will start it the day before. And so just keep in mind that you will need to leave the States the day prior before you start on this tour. You'll have your Dublin arrival in the morning. Hopefully you'll have the availability to check into the hotel. That afternoon, around 2 o'clock, you're going to get a local guide that's going to take you on a panoramic tour of the city. You'll have the Trinity College experience, St. Patrick's Cathedral, the General Post Office. And then a little bit later during the tour, you'll be able to visit Kilmainham Gaol. Again, this is the jail, prison, if you wish to call it that. This is where a lot of the revolutionary leaders for the Irish Revolution back in 1916 were held. And then later after that, you'll come back to the hotel, have a wonderful welcome drink with your group, and then you will enjoy dinner that night independently. So you're off on your own that night. With day two, I had the opportunity to experience the Epic Museum. This just opened up maybe a handful of years ago, but it's built in a old tobacco whiskey storehouse warehouse along the River Liffey. But if it wasn't for the Irish, as they will say, the world would not be how it is today, because there's so many wonderful aspects to it. The Irish history when it comes to science, to literature, to sports. You could easily spend a couple hours here, but it's a great experience, and it has ended up being one of the top three tourist attractions in all of the country. You'll have your afternoon at leisure to enjoy Dublin, and in that evening, enjoy a great dinner and show at the Taylor's Three Rock Pub, which is a lot of fun. On day three, as you take off, you'll visit a traditional farmhouse along with some tea and scones. You'll then travel on to Waterford, where you'll have the opportunity to enjoy a tour of the Waterford Crystal House. You get to see how the glass cutting is done. Uh, and with a lot of this artwork with glass, it really is, it ends up being a popular visit with a lot of our guests. And then you will continue on after the visit to Waterford. You'll continue along the coast to Cork City for dinner. With day four, the following morning, you'll get a great walking tour of the city with a local guide. This is where you're going to have the opportunity, if there's time, to stroll through the English market, which has been around forever and a day, and is very popular and is very famous in the country. And it's been around since 1788. You will continue on to Blarney Castle. And again, if you wish to kiss the stone, you're more than welcome to. But again, there's some beautiful grounds surrounding the castle if you don't wish to go up to the top. Also, you'll travel on to Kenmare, which is a beautiful little town. You'll stop at Mall's Gap, as it's called, along the Ring of Kerry for some beautiful photo opportunities as you work your way on to Killarney. And then the next day, it's called a jaunting car ride. You'll get these horse-drawn carriages, which is really nice and a lot of fun for folks as they work their way to Ross Castle. And after this jaunting car ride, one of our preferred shopping partners, and every time I'm over there, I always like to go into this family-owned business called Moriarty's, and they're more than happy to assist you if you're into woolen goods, anything that's locally made. So it's a great store if you're interested in some of the local goods that they provide. You'll get to travel the Dingle Peninsula, and I'd like to point out that when you look at the southwest portion of a map of Ireland, it's called the Five Fingers, the five different peninsulas. And two of the most known here in the States is the Ring of Kerry and Dingle Peninsula. And I've had the good fortune to experience both. You can't go wrong with either one. It's kind of like six of one, half a dozen of the other. My preference is Dingle Peninsula because I think it's a little more dramatic, as you can see with that photo. But Dingle is just a great a drive along the coastline. So you'll truly enjoy that. Along that tour with the Dingle Peninsula, you'll get a local sheepdog demonstration. That is my photo of the top sheepdog trainer I mentioned earlier, my first trip to Ireland, and it's just amazing what these dogs can do. So it ends up being one of the top experiences for folks when they get to see one of these demonstrations. And then later that day, you'll have dinner at a famous sports figure, good old Paddy O'Shea's Pub, to end day five. On day six, you'll get to enjoy the opportunity to visit the pub of the famed Irish playwright John B. Keane for some tea and scones. He is one of Ireland's most beloved writers. He wrote many works in a room from behind the bar, so a great experience there. You'll travel the coastline as you work your way up to the beautiful cliffs of Moher. Great visitor center. It very dramatic scenery, and this was considered one of the new wonders of the world with National Geographic some years ago, but it did make the final cut. But great experience, great views, great photo opportunities, needless to say, with the Cliffs of Moher. And then you'll continue on to the beautiful town of Galway. Now, with your overnight in Galway, the next day you'll get to travel to the beautiful Connemara region, beautiful small mountains, but just beautiful landscape with the Connemara region. And with that, a little bit later, Loch Carib cruise. So a nice, relaxing time to enjoy one of the many lochs, which is Gaelic, Irish Gaelic for lake, with Loch Corrib. And then you'll continue on to beautiful Kylemore Abbey, which I mentioned, with the beautiful 6 acres of gardens that right along one of the lakes as well. You'll get the opportunity to return to Galway and enjoy the remainder of the day and evening at your leisure. On day 8, you will travel to the Ballintubber Abbey, which is known as the Abbey that refused to die. Ballintubber Abbey was built way back in 1216, so she's been around for just over 800 years. The reason why it's refused to die because there's been a couple of fires. There's one back in 1265 where they had to rebuild, and then again in 1653. But they do still offer services at Ballintubber. So I have yet to go there, but I've talked to folks that have, and it's a really nice experience. For those of you that are into pottery, the Belleek pottery visit, which is enjoyable as well, you get to see, get a little behind the scenes tour and how they do all their crafts with their chinaware. You continue along the Atlantic coast up to Donegal, and with there you'll visit Triona Design, which is another preferred shopping partner, and this is one of the few remaining hand woven goods stores where it's not, instead of being machine operated, it's entirely done by hand. So there's another great shopping opportunity for you there. And then you'll continue on to the city of Derry. With day 9, one of my favorite stops is Giant's Causeway. You'll get to visit the incredible visitor center and enjoy. You could even walk along some of these basalt rock tubes. Again, some of them get up to 30 feet high, and I've seen people climbing those things. But beautiful, beautiful scenery in this UNESCO Heritage Site area. You return to Derry for a walking tour. This is kind of the epicenter for those of you that are familiar with what the Irish call the Troubles with the Irish Republican Army and the British. Derry was the center for a lot of the conflict, but no issues as of today. There might be someone that might spray paint something on a wall, but very interesting tour of the city of Derry. And then that evening, you'll get a nice CIA exclusive dinner at the Walled City Brewery. Then you'll continue on to lovely Belfast for a city tour. Included with the city tour, again, you get to visit Titanic, Belfast. Again, just a wonderful visit. Me, along with a lot of other people, have always been intrigued with the ship. As you can see, another close-in photo of the architecture. This is the #1 attraction in all of the island of Ireland when it comes to tourist attractions for people when they visit. As you can see, it's a multi-layered facility with all those escalators. You'll see some old-time videos of the workers. Again, they've replicated the grand staircase as well as the different classes of staterooms. So very enjoyable visit on day 10. On day 11, you work your way south just a little bit, and this is where you'll visit a Brunaboyne Visitor Center. This is where you'll have the opportunity to visit the 5,000-year-old burial tombs of Newgrange and Noath. And then you will travel on to King's Court, and this is where the Cabra Castle is located. This was built back in 1760, and it's set on 100 acres of gardens and parklands. So beautiful area. It'll give you time to just relax during the afternoon, and the evening you'll have a farewell dinner with your group. And they then on day 12, you're about an hour north of the Dublin airport, but you'll have time to have breakfast, and then you'll have the opportunity to transfer then to the Dublin airport. And what's really nice with the airport, not only Dublin, but also the Shannon airport on the other side of the country, there is a pre-US customs check. So as an example, let's say your air ticket has you flying home from Dublin, and you will connect in one of the New York City area airports, and then connect on to New Orleans. You don't have to worry about going through customs when you go through New York, because you've already handled your pre-US customs check at the Dublin airport. They kind of space it out. So like if you have flights, uh, uh, you go through US customs first, then you just work your way down to your gate area. And again, it's just peace of mind knowing you don't have to rush to connect with your connecting flight. Now, the wonderful, incomparable Rose Boudreau. Rose is wonderful. She's going to be hosting this group, and she looks forward to having the opportunity to share her experience with Ireland with all of you. So Rose is terrific, and she'll be a great hostess for you when it
And
comes to this tour.
And for anyone who hasn't been on a trip with Rose, Rose is actually a first generation. She's from Sicily and does a lot of Italy trips, and she always has a great crowd. And this year she's doing Oktoberfest and Oberammergau trip and has a full coach going there. So if you want to join us, we always have a lot of fun. I'll be joining as well. My name is Melinda. I'm the owner of Travel Central. Never been to Ireland, but was so excited when Ireland opened up this year with very few requirements for travelers. I thought that now it's time for me to go. So I'm looking forward to this trip.
Good. Yeah, thank you, Melinda. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this tour. Uh, the tour departure, again, the tour itself starts on May 14, so you would be leaving the States on May 13 of next year. This is the double occupancy price of $36.15. This is land only. For those of you that are single travelers, the single room supplement is going to be $9.50. As Belinda pointed out earlier in the presentation, if you deposit by July 15th of next month, you will receive a 5% discount on the land-only price. And then there is optional travel insurance of $259. And I think in today's travel environment, I would highly recommend travel insurance. So please keep that in mind. But it's a terrific price for 12-day travel. One of the nice things we do with all of our guests that travel with us, we have the famous CI Tours backpack, as you see there on the right side. This will incorporate the document holder. You see that little black pouch there. We are still old school with hard documents, no e-documents, so everything will come to you within that. You'll get each guest will receive 2 bag tags, a bag strap, a rain poncho, and as I like to tease people, it's green for a reason over there. You might get a little sprinkler too, but I think May is going to be a terrific month for you to travel. But then a few years ago, we even started providing international adapter. So you don't have to worry about going out and purchasing an adapter for your travels when you go international. Payment guidelines, per person deposit of $250. And again, if you deposit before July 15, you can save 5%. This deposit does become non-refundable 100 days prior to the departure date, and then final payment will be due 75 days prior to that departure.
Thanks, Dan. That was a great presentation, and I sure do look forward to going to Ireland because it looks not only beautiful, some great shopping experiences, some great food and beer experiences. So I think it's going to be a great tour overall that incorporates so many great things. One of the things we always remind travelers is one of the things Travel Central is and travel agencies do. We are your ultimate travel resource. We have the information, the latest guidelines, the updates on travel. We keep up with all the schedule changes for flights. We keep up with any issues that would affect your trip and advocate for you in all ways. And that's so we are definitely the ultimate resource. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you. We hope that you'll consider joining us for Ireland next year, or even if it's not with us on the group tour in May, we'd love to have you. But if not, obviously we can help you do Ireland in many ways. So please give us a call. If I don't see any questions in the chat box, So if I don't see any, we're going to go ahead and say thank you, and y'all have a great afternoon. I apologize for the Tuesday technology challenges, but at least we had a great show today. Thank you,
Yes.
Dan. Thank you
Okay.
everybody
Thanks,
for joining
Melinda.
us.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Take care.